In this module, you will be able to understand the emergence of positive psychology from a multicultural perspective, know the various research areas in positive psychology from a multicultural perspective, identify key differences between the Western and Eastern philosophies about the multicultural perspective of positive psychology, also evaluate the changes faced in the studying of positive psychology from a multicultural perspective, and understand how this perspective can be accepted and applied in the area of positive psychology. Let's first understand what do we mean by multicultural perspective of positive psychology. Positive psychology emphasizes on the enabling of individuals or communities to lead a satisfactory life and reach their maximum potential. Unlike most branches of psychology, it is not primarily concerned with psychological or dysfunctional behavior issues. Instead, it attempts to make an individual or community live a life of contentment, positivity, good health, and well-being. However, one of the major challenges in the novel area of psychology is to diminish or terminate the cultural barriers. In order to implement positive psychology across various cultures across the globe, it is necessary to consider the complex link between culture and positive psychology. Communication across cultures has become increasingly accessible as a result of technological advancements. Our interaction with others belonging to different cultures with different views is becoming more frequent and is of utmost importance. People from different cultural backgrounds have distinct lifestyles and possess varied strengths that help them experience well-being. Hence, positive psychology also shows us the importance of understanding other cultures in a more empathetic, non-judgmental and amicable manner. The multicultural perspective must be incorporated as an important part in the research and work of positive psychologists. They must consider culture as an indispensable influence on the development of human strengths and good living. It is a challenging goal as psychologists and researchers to have been unproductive in integrating culture in the study of mental health. What is a multiculturalism that we understand as? In a TEDx event at Bangkok, Christopher Schuch talks about the failing multiculturalism in Europe. He talks about how immigrants are not accepted in other countries and considered as outcasts. It is of utmost importance to accept and understand others' cultural beliefs, values, and not ridicule and humiliate them. He believes that by integration of identity, acceptance, inculcating mutual understanding, and a stronger emotional bonds with people from different cultural backgrounds, multiculturalism can be worked out. 8-minute talk is concluded with a thought-provoking thought: don't worship diversity, celebrate it. Now let's look at the major areas of research in positive psychology from a multicultural perspective. Intensive researches have been done on multiculturalism and how it affects positive psychology. Positive psychologists are instructed to avoid color blindness when interacting with seekers or individuals seeking contentment and psychological well-being. Color blindness in this context refers to displaying empathy and indifference irrespective of indifferences in own and others' culture, religion, or nationality. The colorblind ideology is considered as a form of racism. Keeping this in mind, some of the characteristics which are important and are the thrust areas of positive psychology have been diagnosed from multicultural perspective. Some of them are listed. You need to study them in details. First is positive emotions. Although emotions are considered to be universal phenomena, yet they are affected by culture. Some theorists believe that positive emotions are an outcome of progress towards future success, whereas others believe positive emotions are constructive in nature, that is, they facilitate learning and creativity. Positive emotions are considered to 1. Broaden people's thoughts and action repertoires. Second, they undo lingering negative emotions. Third, they fuel physiological and psychological resilience. And fourth, they build psychological resilience and trigger upward spirals towards enhanced emotional well-being. Positive emotions not only make us feel good, but they also open up our mind and make us feel more concerned towards the others and more connected to the people around us. Cross-cultural research has shown that by perceiving, experiencing and expressing positive emotions with others, we are able to take a broader perspective, recognize and empathize with others' worldviews, hence developing stronger relationships with others irrespective of own and others' culture. There is also evidence suggesting that inculcating positive emotion can help to diminish or eliminate cross-race effect. Cross-race effect, or in other words, own race bias, is the tendency to easily recognize members from one's own race. There are several studies done with the people of different ethnic backgrounds that substantiate this idea. For example, there are studies done that compare Hispanics with blacks and white participants, black with white and Japanese participants, and Arabs and Israeli Jews. The data from all of these studies have come to the same conclusion: the cross-race effect is evident among all people of all different races. The second thing that we need to look into is happiness. Individuals belonging to different cultural and ethnic backgrounds perceive and convey happiness in varied ways. While most Western cultures consider happiness to be a supreme life goal, some particular cultures do not regard happiness as important. Like, some non-Western cultures do not consider happiness to be important at all. Some individuals across various cultures are averse to happiness for various different reasons. A study shows variations in preconceptions of happiness across various cultures as well. Graham and other colleagues have analyzed definitions of happiness in dictionaries from 30 nations to comprehend the cultural similarities and variation in concept of happiness. It was found that while most cultures define happiness as good luck and favorable external conditions, other definitions emphasized on favorable internal feeling states as well. The third aspect talks about optimism. The psychological definition of optimism is the general tendency to expect positive outcomes instead of the general tendency to expect negative consequences. Optimism, pessimism levels may vary across different cultures. A famous research studied the cultural variations in optimistic and pessimistic bias in predictions of positive and negative life events between European Americans and Japanese. The European Americans being the Westerners and the Japanese being the Easterners. Findings concluded that the Westerners held an optimistic bias in the prediction of positive and negative events, whereas Japanese held a pessimistic bias for negative events only. These findings support the cultural differences in self-enhancement, self-criticism between people from Western world and the Eastern world. The fourth factor talks about self-efficacy. Albert Bandura has described self-efficacy as one's belief in his or her own ability to succeed in specific situation. The culture an individual belongs to might affect various sources of self-efficacy. Culture affects our self-efficacy beliefs through the core system or institutions of all societies, that is family, school, workplace and community. Conducting research from a cross-cultural perspective enhances understanding of the correlation between culture and self, and also increases relevance of theories and researches that explain collective cultures. Individual cultures encourage the I consciousness, whereas the collectivist cultures stress on the we consciousness, which talks about the interdependent collective identity and maintaining harmony among all units in the group. The self-efficacy theory, with its emphasis on personal control, is much suited in a Western individualistic context. Yet, Bandura claims self-efficacy as befitting in collectivist cultures as well. It is as important for those who perform collectively oriented tasks as much as it is for the individualists who perform individually based tasks, as according to Bandura. Orton and Jen has listed 4 potential sources of self-efficacy. First, the performance experiences. Success increase levels of self-efficacy, while failures tend to weaken it. Failure seems less destructive and adverse if there is a strong sense of self-efficacy, which has already been developed through early constant successes. The second part says the various vicarious experiences. Good success rates of similar other individual raise one's own self-efficacy, whereas their failures lead to lowered self or self-efficacy. The third factor talks about verbal persuasion. Competent people can influence self-efficacy beliefs through attempts of active influence. Verbal persuasion of that kind is particularly effective when the communicator is endowed with trustworthiness, expertise, and attractiveness. And the last aspect talks about physical and emotional reactions. Low arousal levels when facing a difficult situation indicates a poor self-efficacy, whereas high arousal levels in case of a threatening course of action would indicate an assured sense of self-efficacy. In Western cultures like America or Europe, the performance experience dimensions as outlined by Oettingen might work better in improving the self-efficacy of subject as compared to Eastern cultures like India and Japan, where people might experience self-efficacy via vicarious experiences. For example, in a country like India, parents often see the success of their children as their own. Now let's look at the influence of culture on understanding positive psychology or the course of positive psychology. In order to implement positive psychology across various cultures around the globe, it is necessary to consider the complex link between culture and positive psychology. To start with, it is important to have clear preconception of the terms culture and positive psychology. The Oxford Dictionary of Psychology describes culture as, I quote, sum total of the ideas, beliefs, customs, values, knowledge, and material artifacts that are handed down from one generation to the next in a society, unquote. And positive psychology is defined as, I quote, the psychology of valued psychological phenomena such as contentment and satisfaction, hope and optimism, and happiness and well-being, unquote. Technological advancements have increased with different views, also more frequently. This exposure to cultural diversity requires us to accept and understand not only from one's own cultural perspective, but also from the perspective of cultures in which individuals are situated. There are several reasons for the influence of culture on positive psychology. These factors mostly originate from varied ideas, transmitted through practices, institutions, religious or spiritual, and the likewise. Contemporary researchers working in positive psychology are increasingly researching on these cultural factors. Two broad perspectives on these cultural factors can be classified as Eastern or Western perspective, or a cultural free or embedded perspective. Psychologist Richard Squeder considers that these factors can help people decide what is morally good, virtuous, and acceptable. According to him, Western people seek rewards and compensation for their deeds in physical form and stress on autonomy and personal satisfaction, whereas Eastern people tend to transform the physical form of compensation into a spiritual one, and they stress on harmony and group or society satisfaction. These two universal views, cultural free perspective and culturally embedded perspective, form a cultural perspective of well-being, happiness, hope, and other positive psychological constructs. The cultural free perspective explains how people across different cultures and backgrounds have similar basic needs regarding happiness and well-being. That is, such as all people want to be happy and maintain good health, whereas the culturally bound perspective holds that such constructs can be viewed accurately only within specific cultural contexts. That is, concepts such as happiness and well-being may not be the goal of all individuals from all the cultures as suggested by the previous perspective. Although there are many Western philosophies regarding the interaction between culture and positive psychology, the Eastern philosophies are more connected with positive psychology, are vaster and vary to a great extent. The major influential traditions are Confucian, Taoism, Buddhism, and Hinduism. Confucianism is based on humanistic psychology and emphasizes on respecting and taking good care of others, whereas Taoism is portrayed on the concept of the way, which considers that energy is continuously flowing through everyone. The virtues taught in Buddhism, that is love, joy, compassion, and composure, etc., are of utmost importance for study to positive psychologists and researchers of multicultural perspective. Hinduism is focused on karma and dedication to work, and Western philosophers and scholars have borrowed heavily from Vedanta philosophy of Hinduism in their literary, cultural, and social life. The positive psychology movement in India is definitely not a new concept. India has roots in positive psychology since the time of Veda and Mahabharata, in which Sri Krishna, as Arjun's charioteer, shares the philosophies and teaches Arjun's life lessons, which are now compiled in Sri Bhagavad Gita. These texts preach non-attachment as a key method to happiness and maintain hope amidst all the odds and doing one's own karma without being perturbed under any other circumstance. The rich Indian cultural emphasizes on unity in diversity, which is focused on that of people from different faiths and beliefs live together in peace, harmony and happiness. In the contemporary times, Indian psychologists are also coming out with researchers regarding culture and positive psychology. Psychoanalyst Sudhir Kakkar, in his book Culture and Psyche, has explored the Indian psyche through a psychoanalytical and cultural perspective, thus integrating culture and psychology. Also, according to Jain, clinical psychologist Dr. Aruna Bruta has developed a relaxation technique that combines 4 yogic postures and repetition of a religious word like Shanti or peace. These techniques make thoughts more accessible, also facilitate Western technologies like cognitive behavioral therapy. Most of the empirical findings that correlate culture with positive psychology are with the Western expectation, thus creating a greater need for more research work that is culturally sensitive in terms of experimentation and difference in emotion and values across different cultures. This may lead to development of empirical evidence that is applicable to major population across cultures. Now, what is exactly the Westerners and Easterns proposing in terms of multicultural perspective? Let's have a look at these two approaches. Since Western and European civilizations have shaped psychology as we know it today, it is not as surprising fact that origins of positive psychology are also focused more on the Western values, experiences and their observations. Constructs such as hope, self-efficacy and optimism have been prominent in Western theories and Western history. However, the previously neglected wisdoms and teachings of Eastern traditions and cultures are now being consulted and inculcated in addition to those of the West, thereby creating an enriched multicultural perspective. Eastern and Western traditions stem from distinct theories, histories and traditions. The differences are evident in the value systems of each cultural approach to living and their respective thought processes. These cultural differences provide an account for the thoughts, strengths of each culture and how positively is pursued and attained. As earlier mentioned, most Western cultures have individualistic perspectives and most East cultures have collectivist perspectives. The Western cultures have a culture-free perspective. They are encouraged to maintain the values like formation of an individual identity, me, myself, independence, autonomy in decision making and problem solving, competitiveness, self-orientation, future-oriented and hopefulness. Whereas the Eastern cultures in contrast endorse a culturally embedded perspective and maintain the following: sharing and cooperation, interdependence, harmony and peace in group, avoiding conflict, to go with the flow, loyalty towards family and friends, compassion and group oriented. To elucidate this particular difference, if you could just compare someone from India goes on to settle down in any Western world country, will have a lot of differences with the local population because of the values and cultures that he grew up in are starkly different from the Western world. And the conflict that he or she faces could be a source of stress for them because the other culture is not willing to imbibe the culture of the other country or other origin. That is why people living in different countries have huge difficulties in settling down or getting acclimatized to a newer environment. These cultural differences need to be changed looked into, incorporated, and assimilated in our study of positive psychology. There's an evident distinctiveness between the worldviews of Western and Eastern individuals. Westerns prioritize a goal oriented thinking and give importance to liberty and happiness in life, whereas Easterners may be more dismissive and stress on inner life balance. Edward Chang did a series of quantitative studies so as to represent the importance of accepting and understanding equivalence of traits and constructs across cultural groups. For example, Asian Americans were found to be more pessimistic than Caucasians, but both groups did not differ a lot on optimism levels. Similarly, a research was done and a multicultural personality questionnaire was constructed, and it identified 5 factors that describe personality style. These factors are cultural empathy, open-mindedness, emotional stability, initiative, and flexibility. These factors may correlate with an enhanced well-being. Although cultural differences have been studied and researched upon for a long time, yet there is little empirical evidence which focuses on cultural issues in positive psychology. The major reason for this is that most searches have been conducted by various expectations and expenditures by the Westerners. Further studies must incorporate a sense of multicultural sensitivity in their researches. Difference in emotions, beliefs, and value systems should also be considered. That's where students, your role also steps in. Being a part of an Easterner world, you should also contribute more to the research about what the cultural diversity of Eastern world is and try and find a way through which Eastern and Western philosophies can be combined for allowing people to live seamlessly through the globe. Now, what are the various challenges that a multicultural perspective face? The defining feature of the positive psychology movement was to turn away from exclusive focus on psychological weaknesses and to focus on well-being and psychological strengths. A multicultural perspective in psychology requires one to understand deeply other cultures and their value systems with an empathetic and non-judgmental outlook. Immigrants should be treated as equals and not sidelined. Multiculturalism requires understanding of other cultures to a large extent. Awareness of various beliefs, morals, and values of other cultures is of utmost importance. In a case of lack of this understanding, it increases the likelihood of social issues such as racism, apartheid, and aggression and segregation. This issue requires creating a multicultural perspective by integrating different indigenous philosophies. Even for a minute, we keep aside the Western and Eastern differences and take an example of India and the cultural diversity that we enjoy. You would see in our day-to-day life, we do have stereotypes on the basis of caste, community, regionality, locality, the place a person belongs to, and the kind of language the person speaks to. We do have a habit of clubbing people under a particular category, and we tend to treat them differently because they look, talk, or behave differently than us. These kind of behavioral patterns have created a kind of a rift within the communities in our country. And when we are talking about a multicultural perspective, we don't need to look outside, we also need to look within to bring in the changes through positive psychology. If you would have noticed, there have been instances of people from a particular geographic location in our country who are targeted for their identity being similar to certain other countries, or people of a different color, of a particular color or a regionality are at the receiving end of certain caustic remarks. These need to go if we have to imbibe the principles of plurality and positive psychology. The researches on multicultural perspective should always be culturally sensitive. Culturally insensitive studies would favor a particular culture or cultures, which diminishes the multicultural factor. Creating more emotional bonds or professional relationships with individual or groups belonging to diverse cultures is an important way to avoid the issue of cultural conflict and diversity. Positive psychologists need to be more cautious in their enthusiasm in launching new streams of positive psychology like positive organizational behavior, positive psychotherapy, etc. There's a dire need to create more rigorous theoretical and empirical testing for strengthening existing applied streams of positive psychology like appreciative inquiry, positive psychotherapy, etc. Now we move on to see the various applications of it in our day-to-day life. Applied positive psychology is concerned with facilitating and enabling people to lead good lives and to be at their best. Positive psychology is applicable to almost every sphere of the field of psychology. The applicability of the multicultural perspective in positive psychology would entail understanding of few tenets in the relevant areas. The first one being happiness. Creating strong bonds with individuals, groups, communities, or nations belonging to other cultures are bound to make us more socially active and more joyous. Lee and his colleagues studied 338 ethnic minority and immigrant youth to understand the effect of multicultural attitude on the feeling of subjective well-being and happiness. They found a positive relation between perceived multiculturalism and subjective happiness with full mediation by ethno-cultural empathy for Africans, Americans, Asians, males and females. To develop multicultural attitude living in an ethically and culturally diverse society where people with different backgrounds, cultural norms, ideas and religious affiliations can come into contact, it is necessary to have a multicultural perspective. However, this is not to deny that racial biases and prejudices are also developing in the similar ecology. When people exchange ideas and information with each other, they become more familiar with each other, help and become party of development to each other. This leads to the development of ethno-cultural sympathy, which in turn brings a feeling of subjective well-being and happiness. The second factor is about reduction in stereotype. When we have a process of integration with those belonging to other cultures and understanding their worldviews in a non-judgmental manner, will also help in reducing stereotypes and prejudices against other cultures. However, it is really worthwhile to mention here that multicultural attitude alone is not sufficient for reduction of stereotypes or prejudices and creation of harmonious and healthy society. While developing multicultural programs or promoting multicultural messages, many intervening variables like personality of people, economic conditions, group characteristics, etc. should also be taken into account. For example, Koff and his colleagues in a study proved that personality of subjects is an important variable that can undermine the success of message promoting multiculturalism. In their study, they made the experimental group subjects watch a short video that gave multicultural message. For example, by showing the German national football team as an example of multicultural group, while control group subjects watched an unrelated neutral video. Based on the rating of subjects, they found that those experimental group subjects who were high on authoritarian personality trait exhibited more negative attitude towards immigrants after watching the multicultural video. Thus, interventions focusing on multiculturalism should carefully propose the benefits of multiculturalism rather than directly imposing multicultural ideologies. We also need to increase in harmony and peace among nations. If applied well and in an orderly manner, the multicultural perspective would lead to good bonds between nations and promote harmony and peace. Also, this would mean a reduction in the violence between countries. Another application would be less intergroup conflict. Adopting multiculturalism also helps in avoiding intergroup conflicts and creates better relationships. Multicultural programs with community and local participation model can increase the mutual contact and cooperation between the diverse groups, thus promoting positive intergroup attitudes and reduction in intergroup conflicts. It can also help us in increasing culturally sensitive researches. The multicultural perspective makes researchers and theorists aware of how they can prepare more culturally sensitive researches without being biased towards their own culture. A clear understanding of other cultures and accepting others' views without being judgmental will reduce in-group bias and promote friendship and trustworthiness. Now let's just summarize what we have learned so far. Multiculturalism is important from the perspective to implement positive psychology across various cultures across the globe. It is necessary to consider the complex link between culture and positive psychology to understand human behavior better. The multicultural perspective must be incorporated as an important part in the research and work of positive psychologists. They must consider culture as an indispensable influence on the development of human strengths and good living. Positive emotions, happiness, optimism, and self efficacy are some of the major research areas in positive psychology, among others. Positive emotions not only make us feel good, but they also open up our mind and make us feel more connected to others around us. While most Western cultures consider happiness to be a supreme life goal, some particular cultures do not regard happiness as important. Like some non-Western cultures do not consider happiness to be an important part of our lives. Individualist cultures encourage the I consciousness, which talks about independence, autonomy, individual identity, individual initiative, and a right to privacy. Whereas a collectivist approach stresses on the we part of it. We consciousness is more about interdependence, collective identity, and maintaining harmony and unity among the group members. Lastly, positive psychology in India has its root in ancient Vedas and Bhagavad Gita, which offers non-attachment as a key method to happiness and maintaining hope amidst all odds and doing one's karma without being perturbed under any influence. Thus, we need to understand the people belonging to different culture bring different aspirations, different expectations, different behavioral patterns, different personality traits. They need to be studied in totality, and a way has to be found to make them seamless so as to ensure that the human race exists as one, than being divided into several slots.